From Craig Rolson in Europe, David Gerber in Brazil, and our editor-in-chief and publisher, Don Oshman, it's time for this week's Sunday Night Week in Review.
Good evening, and welcome once again to the Sunday Night HideNet Market Report and Review. It's February 1st, 2015, and thanks again for watching. Craig Rolson, our editor from Europe, writes this week that the European situation has become a currency-driven market, and everybody involved in Europe knows what's going with the dollar-euro situation. Then you throw in the real, even the RMB changed this week, so all this affects a lot of things, even though a lot of business is dollar-denominated. In France, the news was that Tannery de Prix, a very old-line tannery, filed for bankruptcy this week, which is sad to hear. Also, Adidas confirmed the sale of their Rockport division, and the markets generally in Europe were sluggish. U.S. West Coast shipment delays, which is going on, we'll talk into North America, have helped European exporters because they can ship quickly to the Far East. And if somebody in Asia needs tides right away and they can afford the European prices, then they can get some product, and that's a boon for some of the exporters out of Europe. Speaking of prices, benchmark UK 36s sold between $1.71 and $1.76 euros, delivered Northern Italian tannery. Veal skins were soft, had a softer undertone, and European sheep and lambskins were quiet. Showtime is going on the European continent. There's a GDS in Düsseldorf starting this week, Lineapel the next week, Premier Vision in Paris the following week, and it's very important because that's when a lot of leather is sampled, looked at, sold, negotiated on, so it's a big time in the industry, especially in Europe. But today it's a global industry, so people come from all over the world to these events. North America this week, steers were steady, butts and natives were steady, but branded steers and Texas steers, which represent the bulk of the steer production, were lower, significantly lower. Cows were very firm of all kinds, plump cows, native cows, branded cows, dairy cows. Everything was up in that sector because there's a very low kill and everybody's well sold. The West Coast port situation, they solved one little part of the difficulties of the disagreements, but still it looks bleak as of today that they're going to get this thing settled anytime soon. There are huge strain on exporters financially, even some of the major packers, because they've got containers going to the pier, at the pier for a long time. Letters of credit that had expiry dates have expired because they can't get the bills of lading to load the containers, and some of these things have to be resold or renegotiated because the markets come down as well. Very, very difficult strain financially for exporters because they can't collect on their letters of credit because they don't have the bills of lading. And on the other side, Asian tanners who expected to get their merchandise can't get it either. Merchandise is going, containers are going, but a lot slower. Maybe instead of loading in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's now taking 5-6 weeks, and it's backing up, and it's a big strain. The end is that in sight. Other news in North America this week was JBS expanded a Utah plant, the E.A. Miller plant, and they're going to kill cows there. Before they were killing just steers. Export shipments were up 23% for the USDA numbers ending January 22nd. Sales exceeded slaughter, which is good, but shipments were below, which is not good. And the market is at a state of flux. What's going to happen? Because will natives and butts go down like branded steers and heavy Texas did? Will cows continue to get stronger? Got Chinese New Year coming up. Lots of imponderables. So that's why you really want to watch HideNet, read our reports, get a free trial, and see what's going to happen. Latin America this week, the Brazil green prices were steady due to one of the JBS brothers bought a packer with 2 or 3 slaughter plants, 2,600 hides a day. And now we understand that those hides are going to JBS for curing or whatever they want to do with them before they were sold to other tanners. So the other tanners have to scramble to get enough production in various areas of Brazil and out of these hides. As a result, they've had to give in to packers' insistence on having higher or steady green prices. By the same token, tanners are unable to meet demand at $1.70 CFR for TR1 basis. So they have to insist on $1.80 because their green prices are so high and nobody's paying it. So the price of the market is someplace in between and volume is lower. Elsewhere in Latin America, the Argentine wet salted and shoe upper crust markets fell this week. And that's based on a lack of demand, but because there's no great production, if anything, production of Argentine wet salted hides and green hides are not very many, not as many as could be used. But meanwhile, prices fell. We'd like you to check out our Week in Leather reports, This Week in Leather, and our daily U.S. report and our weekly international report. You can see what they look like. Samples are available at HideNet.com, as well as our forums. We just had one in December from China, which is now translated. You can see that from Mandarin to English on our website. You can also see these reports on our website. And our next forum is going to be around mid-February, containing some notables of various other industries. That's it for tonight. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Bye.